Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now the end of November of 2021. We're only getting closer to the official release of the Book of Boba Fett, which by the way is going to really have a lot of connections to The Mandalorian Season 3 and other Star Wars TV shows out there that are currently being crafted by both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. We do post a couple of fun and entertaining things on there from time to time and interact with you guys further. So, we're now in a very interesting phase of the franchise because not only at Star Wars Celebration are we going to be getting a ton of new Star Wars announcements, be it, of course, movies or TV shows, whatever have you. A lot of things for the lore, such as novels, books, comics, are going to be announced as well. That's all going to interconnect with the TV shows and the movies to really kind of bring this universe to life full circle. So, given that Bob Chapek, the Disney CEO, I don't know if you guys knew this, but he's doing a lot of work behind the scenes and kind of really organizing everything of what's to be done for Star Wars Celebration next year. And hopefully it doesn't get canceled for a number of different reasons, and hopefully it does stay in place still for May of 2022. I think it will. I don't think anything should get in the way to make it canceled, but May of 2022 is going to be a big deal because that's when they're going to be announcing a lot of their future plans as well. We're talking about the entire roadmap of the Star Wars universe and exactly what shows and what movies are going to be coming out in which order, and exactly what comes before or after other projects out there. However, what's really all the more exciting has everything to do with what Jon Favreau has been able to talk about for the past number of days now, and what he's been talking about with the mandoverse, and how it kind of has really been giving the fandom a little bit more of a vivid view of exactly how Lucasfilm operates as a company and exactly what he was going through with the Mandalorian series. So, with that being said, of course, what's really intriguing about all of this, with the Book of Boba Fett's marketing now beginning, both Lucasfilm and Disney are also preparing a series of announcements for new TV shows at Star Wars Celebration next year that is going to truly excite the fans around the globe. However, recently Jon Favreau has been speaking out more about the Mandoverse and his experience over at Lucasfilm, and what it has been like for him since developing the Mandalorian series. Now, Jon Favreau went on to say some surprising things about Lucasfilm, where he went on to reveal that, when I first stepped in to write and create The Mandalorian, I'm not going to lie, almost all the creatives over at Lucasfilm were not optimistic about my series and my vision, and of course were even against many of the characters I had created at the time. I brought this up to Kathleen Kennedy when working on Season 1, and she had agreed with many of those that felt my direction was just not working. Now, originally I had wanted to include many beloved character cameos in Season 1 of Mando, and just kept pushing and pushing for it. These are cameos that would have been a part of course, what was seen in Season 2, and some other surprise ones as well that Kennedy refused to put in that now have actually been working on for the third season. But yeah, it was a very tough road because it was actually seen as this risk taker, you know? I mean, it was the first Star Wars live action series, so to speak. I know that Kathleen Kennedy at multiple points in time wanted me to completely change the story and was even very aggressive with this change up, and it took tons of patience for me to convince her that this show needed to stay the way that it was in order to really do something original. All I remember is that Kennedy saying that we should play things safe with a first Star Wars TV show, especially if it's in live action form. The only thing that I could say to that is that this is absolutely the direction that would actually lead to failure. I didn't want to play it safe, and it was important for me to convince Kennedy to not change the story. Sadly, I didn't get to tap into the cameos that I wanted to use in the first season, but it was a rough path to get the show moving, and I mean moving with my vision and with Filoni's vision and what Lucas had taught us beforehand. I remember even beginning, of course, wanting to use many of Lucas's concepts. When we were actually in this process, Kennedy was very worried about doing that. It took lots of patience as well for that to actually convince her to let us use George's ideas for the Mandalorian series, and I truly believe that why so many OT fans connect with this series. As for Season 3, I cannot wait for you all to see it. We are already filming, and with that have actually been said, of course, we're doing a lot of things to actually change things up to be extraordinary. Our approach with Season 3 is to expect the unexpected, and that's somewhat of a theme that we're actually shooting for with the 3rd season of Mando, and with the Ahsoka series as well, and that's really going to change things up a bit for the Star Wars world. Keeping these things secret have actually been very tough for me, and I cannot wait for you all to see these new shows. Now, the thing about Favreau, he's absolutely on point about what Kathleen Kennedy was doing, and how that was the wrong way to go about doing things. Now, thankfully, it didn't turn out to be that way in its entirety. She wanted the Mandalorian to play it safe. I don't know if you guys recall, but originally, the Mandalorian Season 1 was actually going to start off right away as a Boba Fett show, alright? That was, of course, after the Boba Fett movie got shot down, right around when Solo: A Star Wars Story released back in early 2018, you guys may recall. I believe James Mangold was actually connected to it all. That got shot down, and so they proceeded to make a Boba Fett series. Once that was actually put into the trash, that's when Jon Favreau came in, approached a new Star Wars live-action TV show, changed it from Boba Fett to becoming Din Djarin. Alright, so that actually freshened things up quite a bit and really ultimately led to the Boba Fett series that we have now. And it worked out for the best because they're using Boba Fett, or the Book of Boba Fett, as a side story, and they're kind of just not exploring that mysterious character that we all grew up with too much, to the point where, you know, it's going to feel a little off. If you explore a mysterious character's past way too much, that's where it kind of like devolves the character a little bit, right? It's kind of like Yoda. You don't want an entire show about Yoda's every single move in his past. It kind of devolves the character's mystery. Some characters are meant to remain mysterious, so to speak. So that's just my approach on that. That's just my overall opinion. But what's really interesting to me about what Favreau had to say here as well is how he was actually going to explore a lot of different cameos for the first season, especially with the first episode. You guys may recall, the first episode of Mando Season 1 had a great start, but we really didn't have a lot of, you know, things that we got like what we had in Season 2. Season 2 was a big eye-opener of what was to come. So Season 1, originally speaking, a lot of the cameos that we got in the second season were supposed to be in the first. Maybe it worked out for the better, I don't know. I mean, some people would say that it, yes, worked out for the better because it built up to those characters, but at the same exact time, you could look at it this way. Jon Favreau could have actually made a quite, you know, different number of teases of those characters in the first season, and then really kind of tap into the characters full time in the second season. It could have been done that way as well, but I digress. Everything that he actually had to say about Kathleen Kennedy seems like it was very hard for him to work on the first season, how it was like shooting through hoops to get George Lucas's work, you know, his concepts and ideas to become a part of The Mandalorian itself, and it just makes you realize of how hard it seems to be working with Kathleen Kennedy, or how hard it once was. Given that she no longer has creative control for pretty much every Star Wars project, which is great. She's only working on the Acolyte TV series with Leslie Headland. Other than that, she's pretty much only attached to the business end of a lot of these new TV shows coming out, and that's it. And I think that's one main reason why, as to the marketing for a lot of projects, have been off. You know, when you look at the Book of Boba Fett, the trailer, in my opinion, it released so very late. I feel like it should have came out a little bit earlier. Even now, you're not really getting all that much marketing, but it is beginning. It's beginning to sprue right now. You have a couple of images coming out. You have a couple of interviews regarding the Book of Boba Fett strictly coming out. We're getting there, and we're also getting there for the Kenobi TV series as well. So, overall, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.